What's up YouTube world, it's your camera boy Jona. Today I want to talk about my favorite lenses for party or event photography. Now this is like a very difficult kind of topic because I had times when I was like, oh, the 24mm, this is just like the perfect event lens. Or I was like, oh, 35mm, wow, or an 11 to 20. But actually, if you really want to cover an event, you need more than one lens, because every lens has its own unique style and way of capturing parts of the event. So I will now show you every lens that I use, and I will tell you why I like it, why I don't like it, and I will show you some examples of it. I think that's the best way for you guys to decide which lens fits your needs for your type of event photography. Alright, let's start off with the first lens. I'll start from the very wide to the more close ones that I use. And the first one is a Samyang Fisheye Lens 3.5. This lens is pretty awesome if you want to photograph very wide crowds or DJ stages, or if you have to shoot in a small space, a small event, and this will make the event look much more bigger than it is in real life, which the clients will always appreciate. So that's something I really like about the lens. You can use it in small spaces, or you can capture like a really wide crowd with it. The downside of the lens is it's a fully manual lens. So what this means is your flash will not work with TTL, because the camera doesn't know what the settings are, because you have to even adjust your aperture on the lens itself. Now I will show you some examples of pictures I took with this lens, and I'll tell you why I like it. But very good lens, not super expensive, I think around $300 I guess. It has some downsides, like the fact that it's manual focus, manual aperture, but for the rest, great lens and definitely an asset to your kids for capturing events. Yeah, one thing I forgot to tell about the fisheye lens, the disadvantage is the distortion, so that's something that you have to keep in mind if you shoot with it. Alright, so here are some examples that I took with the fisheye lens. So as you can see, this is like a natural light picture without any flash. It's really cool to capture the total environment of the club, and I have to say this club is like really small and it's difficult to capture a pic like this in a club because it's such a small club. But actually with the fisheye it looks huge, it's awesome, and yeah, I really like this pic. This is another one in the same club, same thing, like you can really get like the feeling of the club, the lights, and it just looks big. Here this is a pic that I took of a person, and as you can see here, this is kind of the problem with the fisheye lenses. You get this like wacky distortion on the edges, but it's cool to use it sometimes to photograph people, because you can capture like the one person and still have like a lot of surrounding. So that's cool. Same here, like the one guy is like captured, but you can see all of the surrounding, which makes it an awesome pic, I think. And here I actually like the fact that you have like a bit of this distortion, because it makes the pic more lively and dynamic, I would say. Same here, it's like you have stuff going on, somebody's crowd surfing here. So you got that in the pic. If I would have shot this with like 24 or 20 or something, you would just have like this person. It still would be a cool pic, but now it's awesome to show some of the environment. And you can also use it inside, but it's a look I get bored of really easy, so I wouldn't overdo it, but it can sometimes be cool because it has this wacky distorted effect, so sometimes can be fun. Now the next lens, we have here the Tokina 11 to 20 2.8. This lens I would say is a bit more all around, because at 11 you can still catch those crowd vibes or those more like big stages. and it's also good for in small spaces. Plus you have the 20, which is great for shots of like an individual in the crowd. So that's why I like this lens, because you can easily switch between showing the whole scene, showing a bit more of like one person that you want to focus your attention on. So again, I will show you some examples, but this is also nice that it's a 2.8 lens, which means you can let in a bit more light. So I use this a lot for natural light pictures of the event. Also the 2.8 will make all the lights look a bit more out of focus, so that's also really nice. And the only disadvantages I would say is if I'm photographing people at 20 millimeters, it's not as sharp and good at focusing as my Sigma 18-35. So I'd rather use this lens if I'm shooting this type of pictures. But overall, great lens, great range, the 11-20. I'll show you now the examples and tell you a bit about it, and then we go to the next lens. Okay, so these are some pictures that I took with the Tokina 11-20, and I'll show you some of them. I really like this lens. As you can see, it's awesome to get like a big crowd as well, but it has less distortion on the fisheye and you get less easily tired of the look. And I'll show you some example why I also think this lens is cool for capturing people. So this picture was taken at, I'm not really sure anymore, but I guess around 24 millimeters. And this is the same pic with the 11. As you can see, I like this shot way better because it's a DJ, so you want to see him DJing, he's doing his thing, you see the equipment, you see a bit more of the DJ booth. While this one, okay, it's cool, it's a very cool picture of the guy, but you see less of what he's doing, and I really like the fact. So that's what I love about the 11, that you can capture more of the environment. As you can see here, this person is like going crazy on the dance floor, and her girlfriends are cheering her on, and it's awesome that they're also in the picture. Also, it has like this look that I really dig, because it still has like the 2.8 aperture, so you can get like a bit of depth. You can add a bit of depth to the image, as you can see in this picture. And yeah, I just love it that you can see the crowd around the person that you're focusing on. As here, taking picture of a big crowd, it's no problem. And yeah, on events like this, if you go to big clubs, like as you can see, I got the edges of the club, which is really nice, and it wouldn't be possible if I wouldn't have the 11 millimeters. So here you can see as well, it's a really cool focus on the person, but it's showing the big ass screen and even the DJ here. This DJ, you can see the crowd and all the lights. And because of the 2.8, as I said, you can really get some nice depth to the image. As you can see here, it's really cool that you have this focus on the headphones, but you can still see the environment which you have with this 11 millimeter. Here as well, if I would have taken it with a 24, 35, whatever, it would have just been the DJ and like some buttons here, but I really like the fact that the speakers are kind of framing him, and like his full name is behind him. Same here. Same here. It's just like the 11 makes it awesome to show the crowd, and the 2.8 is great if you want to shoot natural pictures, as I did here, because it helps to let in a bit more light, so you can keep your ISO down more, and it also creates nice lights in the background. So yeah, these are all examples of the 11-20 Tokina. So as you can see, it's a great party and event lens. Alright, so now we came to the Sigma 18-35 Art Lens 1.8. This lens was for a long time and still is one of my favorite lenses to shoot with. The downside is the 18 isn't wide enough if you really want to catch those crowd vibes or stages, or really show the interior of an event. I found that it's like not wide enough, but it's a great lens for shooting the people at the event. You can shoot them at the 1.8 aperture, which will give you that really nice depth of field, you know, that bokeh. You can shoot at 3.5, 4.5, even f9, and then the photos are incredibly sharp, so that's amazing. Downside to this lens, like maybe like a really big downside, is it's like heavy. Like using this lens feels like a workout. Your shoulder, because a lot of times at events I'm shooting like this. I'm shooting like just walking in the crowd and shooting the people, bam, 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 here and there. And I got like a big flash on it, on my camera, and this lens and the setup is kind of heavy. So that's like the downside to it. But overall, great lens. If you only have like one lens to buy, I would maybe suggest this one, or the 11 to 20, depends. If you're really more into big events and want to catch a crowd, you need the 11. But if you're really focused on capturing the people and the moments of certain individuals at the party, then I would say this lens is a great option for you. I'll show you now some pictures that I took with this lens and tell you a bit about them. And then we have the Sigma 18 to 35 1.8, and that's really one of my favorite lenses. I really use it to focus on like one person in the crowd and really capture their emotion. And as you can see, the lens is like super sharp. It has a really quality feeling, and you can really focus. Like it has a bit more shallow depth of field, so you can really focus on one person and make them pop out of the environment, which I really like. Also, there's just something about the quality that the lens produces that is amazing, and I kind of use it to make more like portraits almost, let's say, of people in the club. And yeah, just amazing quality of the lens. Also, because this lens is an aperture of 1.8, you can use it to get some details of the party. For example, these DJ buttons, with the DJ having like his rings and everything. So it's a really good lens to capture the people and to capture some details at the party. Alright, and now we come to a really small lens. It's the Canon 24mm f2.8. And I actually bought this lens specifically for party photography, and the reason why is I kind of noticed that I was using my Sigma 18 to 35 most of the time at 24mm, and well, as I already said, it's a very heavy lens. Also, it's a bit, you can't really hide it in the crowd, your camera, and be like, oh, snap a picture of somebody who didn't notice you, so it's like a really spontaneous picture. It's a big camera, and with this lens on it, it's much more lightweight, it's much more discreet, your camera, so that's an advantage. Also, the price is an advantage. I think it's about $150, or I actually don't know, but it's quite a cheap lens. The good things, it is a very good focusing and sharp lens, but if I compare it with my Sigma lens, I have to say, yeah, the images look way better. So that's why I don't use it anymore, because I already had the Sigma, so it would be kind of useless using this one. But if you're on a tight budget, or if you're just starting out and you don't know if it will be something for you, this is a great lens to capture the people at a party. It's f2.8, so if you want, you can get like a bit more separation of the person in the background. So overall, great lens. I would really suggest it, but if you already own like an 18 to 35 Sigma, for example, then probably you'll be noticing that the quality is not as sharp with this lens. I'll show you some examples now of pictures that I took with this one. And that's it actually. That's like all the lenses that I use for party photography or event photography, mainly because I shoot inside. I think outside I would also suggest using a 70 to 200 or like a 24 to 70, maybe something like this, because then you probably are on an event with a lot more walking space, and it's really nice to, without the people noticing you, capture them like candids in the moment, and that's easier to do from when you can be further away from them. And also these type of lenses really give a nice compression of the background. So if you're shooting at festivals and stuff, then I would suggest also getting a lens like this. But for inside party photography, event photography, I found that I can do everything that I want with these lenses. These are all pictures that I took with the Canon 24mm 2.8, and as you will see, they're also very good, and especially for a lens that's so cheap, I would really suggest it if you're starting out, or if you're not sure if you want to continue in photography or party photography. It's an awesome lens to also get like this kind of portrait feeling with the people at an event. So I'll show you some examples. The thing is, why I like the Sigma better is if I compare them, the image just has a better quality overall, and it doesn't really matter that much, but I already have the Sigma, so that's why I use it. But otherwise, because as you can see with the 2.8, you can still get like a nice shallow depth of field if you want. So for example, focus on the tattoo of the DJ here, and the buttons are a bit blurry, and get really nice portrait looking photos of the people at the event. So yeah, I really suggest this lens. I will probably use it if I go to events and I just want to have like a lighter camera, because I think the quality is awesome, and it's an awesome lens, especially for the weight and the price. So here you go. So I hope you like this tutorial, and subscribe for more, because I'm making 24 more videos. I made this challenge for myself that I will be uploading every day for a month. The reason why I didn't upload this weekend was because I was shooting at events and I had to edit it, and I don't know, it was really not possible to make a video for you guys. So I decided to do it with weekdays only. I'll make 5 videos, then take the weekend off, make 5 videos again, but I'll do it for a month because I really enjoy doing this. I hope you learned something, and that's what it's all about. Chasing your passion, sharing useful information, and becoming better every day at what you like to do, and equipment is a part of it. So click that subscribe button, hit the like button, and see you in the next one.